thanks for joining us for Pet Entertainment Television. I'm Dennis Rosiak.
And I'm Mandy Maxwell.
And we got a real pair here.
Yeah, yes, we do. The dynamic duo.
That's right.
But actually, there's 3 more of them at the shelter, so they're the dynamic fivesome.
Yeah, so if you're interested in a Pomeranian or a Pomeranian mix, we've
Yes.
got a lot in stock.
Yeah, yes, unfortunately we do.
Yeah.
I'm holding Teddy.
And I'm holding Fritz.
Yes, and they, like I said, whoops, as he jumps down, there are a few more at the shelter. They unfortunately came from a situation where, you know, I think the woman was probably trying to do what was right, but she sort of got in over her head and ended up with 5 of these guys at her home and just wasn't able to take care of them.
Yeah.
So, so they're at the shelter, and you know, these guys are actually in pretty good condition.
They're in great shape.
Yeah.
I think they are. And they seem to have really great demeanor.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been scared at all this morning. I mean, they've been walked right into dog days and are approaching everybody and saying hi. They've been approaching all the dogs. So thankfully, I don't think it was a situation where they've been abused or, you know, neglected or anything. I think it's just 5 dogs is a lot for one person to handle on their own.
Yeah.
So
now so Fritz here is 2 years old, and then Teddy
we think is about 4 years old.
About 4 years old.
Yep.
So boy, these are young dogs, and of course, the small dogs like this, you know, typically live a long time.
Right,
so,
exactly. So you've got a forever companion, that's for sure.
Exactly, right. So today, you know, we're at Dog Days, as Mandy said, and we appreciate their sponsorship of today's show. And I bet you they'd do good in doggy daycare here and just running around with all the other dogs.
I think they would love it, especially this little guy. He's a little bit spunkier of the 2, but both, I mean, like we said, they've both just been fantastic. And I do believe that they are house trained as well. We were suggesting kids over 10, and I think that's just because they're smaller.
They're small, yeah.
You can't, you know, you don't want to throw them around or anything like that. So a bunch of rowdy boys might not be the best thing for these little guys. But really fun. I like them. They've got good spunky personalities, you know.
And they've been, you know, they've been real alert to everything that's going on. They're watching and checking everything out. So, you know, they seem to be just great little dogs.
And don't forget, like we said, there's 3 more at the shelter. There's another one that's black that's a little bit smaller than these guys that does have a little bit of skin allergies or something of that sort. And then 2 others that don't look like these guys. I'm not quite sure what they are mixed with, but again, we have tons of little Pomeranian mixes right now, and lots of small dogs actually in general at the shelter. So if you're looking for a small dog, definitely come and see us because we've got quite a few right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we wanted to mention too that we're just going to talk a little bit about, you know, dogs that pull today, and maybe some things that you can do to help that situation because it's a pretty common situation.
Oh yes, my own dogs at home do it.
So we'll be right back.
Please take me to Dog Days.
Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web, please.
Okay, we're back, and we've got Brady.
A very sad guy. It just breaks your heart when you see boys like this at the shelter. That just looking in his face, you know, you can just tell he's so sad and he has no idea what's happened to him. He was an owner surrender, so you have to think that he was loved by somebody, you know. I mean, he doesn't appear to be malnourished or anything like that. I mean, of course, you never know what their home situation is like, but he's obviously very depressed and unsure and sad about what's going on. So he's been at the shelter for a couple of weeks now, so, you know, hopefully even a foster home where we can get him out of the shelter immediately would be great for him.
Yeah.
His previous family said he played well with other dogs. So, you know, if there was a family watching the show that would be interested, you know, we can always do a meet and greet just to make sure that your dog and Brady would get along together.
Exactly.
But I think aside from just getting adopted outright, I think a foster home would be great for him just to get him out of that environment.
Yeah, and this is, you know, again, typical of some dogs at the Humane anxiety because
Right.
this was owner release. You know, he's not sure what's going on. They dumped him at the shelter and basically said can't keep. So,
Right.
you know, I saw him sitting in the back of in the kennel, just kind of sad. And I thought, well, we'll get him out today, and maybe he'll open up a little bit. And,
Yeah.
And that's all it'll take. I mean, once he gets a little bit, you know, with somebody, he'll be fine. And,
Right.
And it'll work out perfectly. But
Right. And he's young. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of has this sad old face, you know, but he's really only about 2 years old. So I'm hoping that once he like you said, once he gets settled and he gets comfortable, you know, that he'll come out of his shell and just kind of relax a little bit, and his true colors will show.
Yeah.
But he's a handsome boy,
Yeah, he
nonetheless.
really is, and he's not physically, he's probably maybe a 35, 45-pound dog,
Yep.
so he's not a real big dog.
Yeah,
And so,
good size.
Yeah, just a nice sized dog, and you know, he has a very short tail, so you don't have to worry about him knocking over stuff in your house.
Right, exactly. Taking out everything on your coffee table like some dogs do.
Yeah, well, it's good. He's actually said, I think I'll lay down, so he's pretty comfortable right
Right.
now. So,
And I know you were going to talk a little bit about leash training and stuff like that. I mean, obviously he's not been pulling
You're right.
us around at all today, and part of that too, I think, is just because, you know, he's a little bit scared and unsure of everything right now. But
and our next dog, Kashmir, is going to be a little bit
different.
A little bit different, and I think that's the whole thing. And I think this is something that most people have issues with, where their dogs go and just start pulling them from the day they get out the door or before they get out the door. So one of the big things I think is that we, and I've done this myself in the past, is you make the mistake of before you even attach the leash on, the dog is going crazy, and you never do that. You wait until the dog calms down before you even put the leash on the dog.
Yes.
So you start as simple as that, and then you can actually give them a treat for being calm and put the leash on. When you go to the door, same thing.
Right.
Don't ever let them out the door all hyper, because then they're going to start pulling immediately. And so again, I don't think Brady's going to be that way right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we've even been doing something pretty cool at the shelter. Our volunteers are they're calling it Operation Say Please, I
Okay.
think, something like that. So it's a group of our volunteers. They're making every dog 4 on the floor. You got to be sitting with all 4 paws on the floor before we feed you and before you get to go out.
Absolutely.
So it is
perfect.
awesome.
Yes.
And they're really making them do it. And they say, you know what, if I come up to a kennel and I tell the dog to sit before I'm walking them and they don't sit and they're, going wild and rambunctious, then I move on to the next dog and then I come back to them. So they're learning that, you know what?
Yes,
If I
perfect.
want to get out for my exercise and my playtime, I need to have 4 on the floor and I need to sit and I need to be patient.
And that's the exact same thing that this article was talking about, making sure that they sit before you even put the leash on them.
Right.
Sit before you go out the door, and just keep instilling that in them, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. And what a great thing, because I know, I mean, we've got 2 dogs of our own, and I can't say they're always perfect walking. And it'll drive you want to enjoy your walk with your dogs. You don't want to be like yanked down the road by them, so leash training is so important, and it can be the difference of whether you enjoy the time that you spend with them when you're out walking or whether it's miserable.
Exactly.
And you don't want to do it. And I've heard people say, well, they pull too hard, so I don't want to walk them. That's defeating the whole purpose, because they
Right.
have to have the exercise, and if you're not going to walk them, they're not going to get the exercise, so they're going to be overly excited and pull you even harder if you're not doing it. So
Exactly. And you know what? If you don't have the expertise, or you don't want to take the time and go research everything, you can just come to Dog Days, and they do all the
Absolutely.
training right here.
Absolutely.
And you can work with Judy here, and
They can stay
Yeah.
and train, or bring them in, for daily sessions and things like that. So there's all kinds of options. So,
Yeah.
don't let that ruin the time with your dog.
Exactly.
So.
Well, we got Kashmir coming,
Kashmir's coming
so
up.
Stay tuned. Please take me to Dog Days.
Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web.
Please?
Well, we're back, and we're with Kashmir, and Kevin O'Brien is with me from Dog Days, and Kevin has been working with Kashmir, And Cashmere is definitely one of those dogs that has a lot of energy, right, Kevin?
She's a very high, babe, sit down. She's a very high energy dog, yes.
Yes. So you've been working with Cashmere because Cashmere has so much energy, right?
Yes, indeed. Come here, babe. Sit down. Good girl. Stay. Good girl.
So in training, I've been noticing that she listens to you very well. She goes down, she sits.
Yep, we've been working on some of the basic commands.
Okay.
Sit, stay, down, come, off. She jumps up a little bit, but she's gotten a lot better with that.
Okay.
So, and we're also doing some just basic hand signals with her as well for sit, stay, down as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the neat thing about it is that that you can see how fast when she came in, she had none of these manners. Now all of a sudden she's starting to learn her manners, and that's something that
Come here, sweetie.
that is greatly appreciated by the Humane Society, and will be greatly appreciated by someone who adopts Cashmere.
Oh, absolutely. She's a fantastic dog, and I think the ideal owner would be somebody, an individual or a family that has a lot of time to spend with her.
Okay.
She wouldn't be necessarily maybe a great apartment dog because she's a very high energy dog. So
Yeah.
if there's an individual or a family out there that's got a lot of space or a big yard, I think that would be the ideal candidate for dogs like Cashmere. And I think she would appreciate it and thrive in an environment like that.
Now I noticed too that we've been talking a little bit today about leash pulling and things like that.
Down.
My guess would be is that out of the chute, she's probably one that would like to pull on the leash.
She does pull on the leash a little bit. She's gotten better at it, and we're working with her on it. But that is something that we need to keep working on. So.
Yeah, and I noticed that we were talking about earlier, and I noticed you did exactly that. Is when you walked out the door, she sat before you went out the door, sat before you came back in the door.
Right.
So that's one of the key things that we've been talking about is trying to make sure that they learn their manners, that they know that they can
Cash.
be rewarded
Down. Down.
for actually pulling.
Down.
And unfortunately, it's consistency, right?
Good girl. Right. And that's the thing. We've only been working together for just about a little over a week now, and she's come a long way in just a week. So if we
Yeah.
can consistently keep working on it, or if someone that comes in and adopts her can work on it with her, then I don't think it'll take her any time at all to pick that up.
I also noticed that she's very food motivated, and that's a good thing, especially when you're trying to train someone like Cashmere, right?
She is food motivated, but then again, most of us are. So
Yeah, I am too.
I certainly am. Yes. But yeah, it's just a little bit of treats that she gets every once in a while we're training. That she's definitely picked up the idea that if she behaves, she gets a little reward, and she does like that. So.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Kevin, and talking about Cashmere, because we're going to find Cashmere a good home.
I certainly hope so. She'd make someone a great dog.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Please take me to Dog Days.
Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web.
Please?
Okay, we're back, and it's time for the cats.
I know we've seen our plethora of dogs today, and now it's
Yeah.
time for Teddy number 2. We had Teddy the Pomeranian mix, and now it's Teddy the cat. I do not know what kind of mix he is, but he is just absolutely handsome.
Yeah, he's got real interesting fur.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost a grayish underneath, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome, and he is such a cool cat. I asked the girls that work in our cattery this morning, I said, okay, girls, pick me out somebody good, for the show, because
Yeah.
unfortunately I don't always get a lot of time to spend with the cats or the dogs. So they picked Teddy out and said that he is just a cuddle bug, a lover. And I picked him up, and he just gave me a little kiss on the nose, and and a lot of cats, aren't like that. They kind of, keep to themselves, and they're kind of more independent. But he is just a lover boy.
He's about 5 years old, right?
Yeah, great age, just like dogs. You know what I mean? Like he knows what to do. He's kind of ready to just come into the home, settle down, hang out.
Now he's FIV positive.
He is FIV positive, and we've been showing you a lot of cats that are FIV positive the last couple of weeks, and that's because number one, we have so many of them. Yeah, and number two, it's just to reiterate the fact that they really are no different than any other cat.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd want your other cats at home to be FIV, or you know, you could have a dog. It's not contagious from you know, from feline to canine or anything like that. And again, I mean, they can live a happy, long life. They need to be indoor cats, and of course, they need to be, you know, kept up with all their vaccines. But so does everybody else. So again, it's just they're no different than anybody else. So, but yeah, he is such a cool cat, and I know we've had quite a few cat adoption specials lately. So don't forget, we are still doing our PERS days on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So half off the adoption fees, and I don't think we've mentioned in a while, we have a PAWS program.
Okay.
Which stands for Partnering Animals with Seniors. So any 5-year-old cat or dog can go home with a family, a person that's 55 or older, for a reduced adoption fee of only $45. So that is our PAWS program. Not that 55 is a senior citizen person, and not that 5 is a senior for a dog or a cat, but those are just the numbers that we picked. So, so if you're watching and you're 55 or older, come in and get him for $45.
Exactly.
You know, it's awesome. And look what kind of awesome cat you'll get. I mean, here we're at Dog Days. There's dog smell everywhere, and he's just like, oh, just chilling, you know.
He's got the biggest green eyes.
I mean, he's handsome. But, you know, a couple weeks ago, we had all black cats and black dogs on.
Right.
So don't forget, these guys wait longer than most others because they are black.
Yeah.
And, you know, October is going to be around the corner. People get all crazy and superstitious about black cats. They're no different than anybody else. They were just born with black hair instead of orange or yellow or purple or whatever. So they're no different than anybody else. So
Yeah. Well, Teddy wanted to talk about another event that's coming up.
he's going to let us talk about dogs one more time, aren't you, buddy? Put this on your calendar. It is, oh my goodness, right around the corner. Sunday, September 11th, our Dog Day afternoon event in Carmel at the Carmel Civic Square. It's from 11 to 6. We've got tons of vendors, food vendors, pet vendors, jewelry vendors, tennis shoe vendors, you name it. And I know Dennis is allergic, so you should stay on my lap. We're going to have the paw, can't even think straight, the Parade of Paws, Dog Walk.
I see that you have a costume contest, a pets contest, and a human and dog fight.
Yes, so if you've got a dog that likes to eat, enter them into the contest. And we've got 3 bands playing live that day as well. So all kinds of good stuff. And of course, it is the 10th anniversary of September 11th, so we will have some special things going on. Military families, families can get in for free. Other than that, it is $5, you know, per person to get in. But of course, all the proceeds from this event go directly to the animals, so we can continue to care for these guys, you know, and give them a best chance for their second chance. So come and see us Sunday, September 11th for Dog Day afternoon.
Yeah, and we should mention too that Andy Hauser from Indie Style is going to be there.
She'll be there. Pet Pals TV will be there. WZPL is going to be there that day. All kinds of good stuff. So you do not want to miss Dog Day afternoon.
Okay, well, we've got one more segment.
Yep. And don't forget about Teddy.
That's right.
Teddy Bear.
We'll be right back.
Please take me to Dog Days.
Your dog will beg you to take him to Dog Days, Playhouse, and Retreat. It's loads of fun for your pet, and you'll have the peace of mind knowing he's in good hands. You can even peek in on what's happening at any time during the day with Doggy Webcam. Whether you need doggy day camp, boarding, grooming, or training, Dog Days gives your pooch the pampering he deserves. Give us a call, 773-4500, or check us out on the web.
Please?
Okay, well, we're back, and it's time for Where Are They Now?
Yes.
And we've had a great week.
We have had a great week. Oh my goodness, lots of really good adoptions, including Rosalie. We had her on last week with her little pink feather.
Ah, that's right, yeah.
So she got adopted. And let me see here. Bronson, you know, he was our little hound puppy that we had on a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
He got
That's
adopted.
Great. That's
yeah.
a great adoption.
And
Dominic,
the just little meathead, chocolatey brown goodness of a pitty.
Yeah.
He went home with a really nice young couple
That was
on
this
Saturday.
weekend, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Then we had, let's see.
One of our favorites. Lulu.
Lulu, that's
Lulu
right.
got adopted yesterday. So excited.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, and Lulu's
Yes.
been there a long time, and,
Yep.
and it's great that she got a good home.
Yep. And 2 kitties.
2 kitties.
Jamie, who we
Okay.
had on at the shelter a couple weeks ago, the gray cat.
Yes, yep.
He got adopted. And Cowboy, you remember Cowboy a couple weeks ago? He was the one that came in. Orange Tabby came in with both of his legs, front legs not
Oh, that's
working,
right,
and we
yeah.
had So Cowboy got adopted. So we had a really good week.
That's fantastic week. So
Yep.
let's talk about some that are still there that really need some homes.
Well, we had Gunner on last week with
Right.
Rosalie, and Gunner is still there, so
Okay.
he's still looking for a good home. Conlon, he was our lab
Kinda
pointer mix. I
yeah.
think we were calling
Yeah,
him a lab
that's
pointer
right.
mix.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's still there and available for adoption. Of course, Timmy and Cashmere are both here at Dog Days.
Right.
So don't forget about them.
And we have Maximus is still there, and Star is still at the shelter.
Yep. And of course, Randall and Pacer are both still there.
Right.
Pearl is still there.
Yeah.
And of course, you have Dakota, the St. Bernard and Foster with you guys. So just know that he's still available for adoption.
Right. And again, he's a 6-year-old St. Bernard. That's just a great dog. And we
Yeah.
had him at the event on Saturday, and he was just
Loving everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Kids, older people, younger people. He didn't care. He
Yeah.
was- dogs. He was good with everybody.
Exactly, exactly. And we had Molly on several weeks ago, so she's
Right.
still looking for a good home. And then Buddy and Rocky are, whoa, where are you going,
Whoops.
Teddy? Buddy and Rocky are lab terrier pair.
Right.
They're in foster. Rocky's done with his heartworm treatment and
Okay.
good to go. So they are both looking for a good home.
And then we had, let's see, Abby and Dash, right?
Yep, and of course Dash and Abby are both, I'm sorry, they were here at Dog Days, and now they're back at the shelter.
Okay.
Yep.
And then how about our kitties?
We still have Ben, my favorite boy ever. Somebody come and get him. And Captain Tyler, who we had on last week, who we had outside,
Yep.
and he just did awesome on his little leash outside. So,
But
and
he's
then
still
Pepe.
available, right?
Right.
Pepe's still available?
And then Pepe. So
Okay.
we had a great week, but we still have way too many at the shelter. So
Yeah.
come and see us. We're at 1721 Pleasant Street, right beside the Hamilton County Fairgrounds. You can find us on Facebook. You can get on our website. And don't forget the dogs here at Dog Days. Come and visit them here. And come and see us at Dog Day afternoon.
That's right. Mark that date down.
Yep.
So thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
See
Bye.
you then.